Oh, yeah, we're back. It's Monday, July 20th already. I can't believe it, Anthony. How are you doing today, sir?
No Vacancy Live. Let's go, baby.
Do it. All right, Anthony. How are you doing today, my friend? Look at this brand new background. I'm feeling pumped. I finally got, after months and months and months, my green screen attitude corrected.
You are wrapped in No Vacancy Live, baby. I am so jealous. I didn't know you were doing this. So now you know. Now you know I got to get some.
I know, it's very exciting. All right, I'm just checking to make sure. I had a feeling that there's something going wrong with my sound, so I'm fixing my sound right now.
That's a little bit better. So there's a couple things we want to talk about today. We want to talk about. I'm going to the Bahamas this week, and then I'm going to get on a Delta flight and cash my $600 PPP money.
All right, let's play What's Wrong with That Sentence. Number one, it doesn't look like the Bahamas are allowing anybody from the United States to come in currently. That sucks.
Yes, sir. And your sound blows too. That sucks too. I can't really hear you.
Is it messed up?
Yeah, I don't hear you well. But I mean, I can hear you, but it doesn't sound like you. But yeah, so. We're apparently the greatest country on earth, but we're not allowed to go to the Bahamas. Thanks for staring at me like that. That's creepy, bro.
That's because I'm fixing stuff.
All right. Jeff says it sounds good.
Fixing stuff. All right. Excellent. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. We are back right now. All right. So, Anthony, Delta Airlines is encouraging customers who are prevented from wearing a mask to reconsider travel. And if they want to travel, a statement says, they will be welcome to fly upon completing a virtual consultation prior to departure to ensure everybody's safety, because nothing is more important. That will take over an hour.
Shouldn't they give them a test?
I don't know what kind of test, a cognitive?
Or just tell them they can't go on a plane. Why can't you just tell them you can't go on a plane?
I know. I don't know. They're trying to discourage people from doing it, but they're trying to be as capable as possible.
Okay, well, right? I think it's a good policy. And then also what I'm going to do is, Colleen, our friend, told me I should fly to Florida first, then the Bahamas.
Right.
So what do you think? And then when I come back to New York, I got to quarantine myself after I get arrested for going to the Bahamas.
Right. Yeah.
What's wrong with the Bahamas, Glenn? Tell everyone.
Oh, this doesn't sound very possible. All right, Anthony, I just want to give you a quick update that we are indeed streaming on both our LinkedIn accounts today. So that is very exciting. So sorry, everybody, for taking the time to look at that. I seem to be having all sorts of issues today.
So let's talk about the Bahamas. We can't go to the Bahamas. Why not?
Because they are not allowing American citizens to come in any longer. We'll see. We got Andy Ingram, the CEO of NABHOOD, coming back to talk about getting more Black executives into the C-suites, and he's a Bahamas guy, so I think we'll be able to get into more in-depth detail with him with that tomorrow.
Yes, sir. And as I'm sending Jeff, take off the logo. There's too much No Vacancy Live.
Or is there not enough No Vacancy Live?
So all right. So we cannot go to the Bahamas, and then now let's talk about the $600 PPP money. That's going away this week. Is that good or bad? What do you say, Glenn? Is that good or bad?
I think it really depends on what seat you're in. If you're hotel owners, you're probably thinking it's probably good, because that's going to encourage more people to return to work, get more people back in to help service the guests. But if you're an employee that's been doing a lot better on your salary, not getting, not working, getting double dipped, regular unemployment plus the extra $600 a week, you're probably saying, the good times are coming to an end. I got to start worrying now.
I would probably tell you that the gentleman you're about to introduce will probably have a say on that. So let's introduce him.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to do the fancy next guest sequence. All right, we're focused on the gentlemen from Charlestowne Hotels today. Kyle Huey, Michael Cady, and Jonathan Capps. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Glenn.
So what do you think about, you heard us talking about the $600 PPP money. First of all, tell about your company, your group, your hotels, and then I want to hear about the $600 PPP money and whoever wants to go.
Right. And let us, we don't have your positions in there. So if you could let everybody know what you are. I know we've got COO, head of revenue management, sales, marketing, all those kind of things. Let us know who you are too.
Yeah, I'll start. This is Michael Cady, Vice President of Marketing at Charlestowne Hotels. For the folks that don't know, we're Charlestowne Hotels. We manage over 50 independent hotels across the country. And thankfully in this really troubling time, have a real cool, diverse segment of hotels, types of hotels. So we're doing everything from university hotels to condo hotels, leisure centric, hotels that are seasonal and in remote areas. So it's really helped us through this, to be quite honest, without not just being, for instance, a luxury group hotel in major market type of management company. So happy to have that diversity in our portfolio.
Excellent. Kyle?
Yeah, that's it. I think Katie hit on most of the points there. For sure, staying out of large group hotels have really helped us with this. But the things you were speaking to regarding the unemployment, stuff like that, we have struggled with that a bit. So that coming to an end, hopefully get some of our workforce back. That'll really help our properties staff up as occupancy seems to be climbing up over June, July. So there is some wins of taking that away.
Right. So that makes a whole lot of sense to me. Jonathan, how about you, sir?
Yeah. So I'm the VP of Revenue at Charlestown, and I think so. I think in particular markets, like they said, we're in some beach markets, obviously here in South Carolina and up the coast that, while numbers have been down a little bit, we've seen a drastic difference in comparison to a city hotel that we have in Raleigh. So the pickup and the employment pickup, we want to still provide the level of service that, our upper upscale independent hotels have delivered on in the past. That comes a little differently in the form of safety amenities maybe, but we definitely don't want to lose sight of that. As I've said to my team and, our balance with the operations team many times is that, we're still a value perception. Rates are still being charged out there, and guests have the expectations when they're visiting hotels and maybe a little bit more tighter now as, they still want the amenities and the access, but they want to feel safe and a different kind of safe than they have before. So a lot of pressure on that ops team.
Jonathan, what did you mean? I didn't mean to cut you off. What did you mean by the upper scale wants a different security or safety protocol? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, so they're going to come in expecting a level of cleanliness, a communication of if that room's been accessed and, what the arrival procedure is and what the touch points are. Are they going to arrive to, the front desk set up correctly? Is their room, to their sanitizing needs?
But isn't that every hotel, regardless of luxury or discount? I mean, everybody's looking for that, no?
Yeah, I think for us though, in the world of we have hotels that are returning guests, and they've paid $450 on a weekday night in downtown Charleston. That delivery and that execution of the wine and cheese hour and the breakfast looks a lot differently now, and that I don't think that expectation of what they're getting product quality has changed.
Okay, now I understand.
Delivery looks different.
Yeah, completely understand. So we were talking before you guys came on about the $600 PPP money going away this week. So good or bad? Kyle, you want to answer?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think we need to kind of keep moving on where the hotels and staff and everybody kind of start standing on their own. We've been propped up a good little while, and we appreciate that in a lot of areas. But we really need to kind of be able to see where it really shakes out, where we're not being propped up financially in a lot of areas.
Yeah, but one of the things you said is that you saw, I think you said this, you saw an uptick, and now you're starting to see it kind of stabilize or go down again. Is that, and do you think that's because of what's happening with the federal response and what's going on with COVID, that people are getting nervous and there's a lot of states that are running out of ICU beds and things like that? Or do you don't think that has anything to do with it?
Well, I think the cases are for sure is what's driving that. I don't think it's got anything to do with propping it up with money and financial resources. It's more of just the media and the cases escalating and things like that, not necessarily the financial piece of propping things up.
Right. So what it now that in every state, not every state, but a lot of states, the cases are going up, Arizona, Florida, California, we have a major problem. How's that affecting business? And do you think that will affect business? Anybody else want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take it a little bit. Not to say they're comparable at all, but when you have the back and forth of, I think Kyle said it right. There's a news communication that seems to be correlating more than the case correlation, right? So kind of what we see with hurricanes in the past, and the communication being heavier. We didn't see as cases were at their spike that our Florida property was at its least occupancy or saw the most cancellations. It's kind of been through different channels, whether it's been, the access to particular things around the hotels that have been important, or other factors, less of a direct correlation to case volume and occupancy or cancellation volume.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So, Jonathan, you're in charge of revenue over there. So what are you thinking in terms of driving either new business to come to the hotel, or are you trying to get people to spend more money once they've actually committed to being at your hotel?
Yeah. So it's, I think of two things, right? It's the framing of our positioning.
Yeah, really.
Value proposition.
So no big deal there, right?
Yeah. No pressure to our owners that may be asking for a forecast for the rest of the year. So yeah, and then understanding what's in your comp set in your market. We look at a market here like Charleston, South Carolina, and there was a moment in time where maybe 9 of our 15 best restaurants were closed for 2 weeks in impact. So yeah, I think understanding that week to week, it's truly how a lot of the revenue industry is forecasting right now, right? We feel like we're on a 45-day booking window with a 2-week accuracy in what we're seeing booking and forecasting. But really assessing that market and the direct competition. I think less trying to get more and really just scaling back to understanding the value proposition. In our world, we talk about, the concern of times like this and rate leakage and where the market will go down. But, I think we look at it as to what we've either cut or what the market is offering and what the guest has to access and do in the market and what the true value of that stay is. I think in some places, you may not be getting peak summer value. You read about places that are still doing pool passes and doing pool access. Well, if we're doing that, I can't set the expectation that we're at 100% of the rate that we were last year. So you may get a vacation this year for 20% less than what you had before, but you also may be getting amenities and access to 20% less. Unfortunately, on the other side, you got hotels that are having to offset that and pay for protection equipment, but as to get the business right now, well worth it.
Have you been seeing, since the COVID cases have been going up, have you seen a lot of cancellations in the last week or so?
Yeah. So, for a minute there, it was going res in, res out. We would get one and lose one. I think that's been a little bit better over the weekend, last 48 hours. I think the curiosity for us right now is actually as school announcements are coming out. You always had that half of August cut in half in a lot of seasonal markets. Schools were gonna go back, parents were gonna start settling in at the end of August, and you were gonna get a Labor Day. But if cases start slowing and you have schools that are all pushing past Labor Day, what does that actually mean for the last 2 weeks of August now that started trending down? I mean, they're not bad in seasonal markets, but they obviously started slowing down. So not to say, we're trying to find the upside in anything, but there may be an opportunity there that there's 2 weeks of extra vacation time.
Right. Well, that would be nice to have 2 weeks of extra vacation time. I could certainly use a couple of days off. Hopefully that'll goose some business to you. But Michael, you're in charge of sales and marketing. So what kind of messaging are you getting out right now to people to make sure that they could feel confident, not just coming to your hotels, but getting out of the house in general to travel?
Well, I think I'm real happy with how we took this on. We right from the get-go got after it with a bounce back campaign. As early as March. And so put about 60 days worth of production planning. I'm talking multiple hundreds of different emails for different properties and different automation CRM tools, as well as paid media, and really had everything ready and waiting until we thought it was the right time to push the button. And so we've pushed buttons per property based on how COVID was doing in that area, what the media was saying in that area, what occupancy in the market looked like. And so I thought the key really to our success of a bounce back, which really went well, was getting everything planned up front and then literally waiting to press the send button on our social media, paid social media campaigns, our paid search campaigns, as well as our bounce back email campaigns. So that really, I think, really saved us in terms of getting that business when it was ripe. And so, we actually saw a lot of good positive revenue in that late May, June area. And now we're sort of doing step 2, phase 2 of that. But all underlying of that was obviously the cleanliness. We put tremendous amount of information on our websites in terms of what we're doing per property, as well as using different channels like organic and paid social media channels of how to expect what to expect when you arrive and even before arrival. And, good credit to the great people at all of our hotels of doing pre-arrival calls for just about every guest. We felt like that was a great touch point where we could connect with guests to explain what to expect. So really, we looked at from pre-arrival all the way to departure, what are all the different touch points we need to address via cleanliness and via, the standards. And so we've used different technologies, just like some of the bigger brands, to communicate that. So it was kind of multi-purpose. One was more of the promo and marketing side to get people in, but obviously the most important was the cleanliness messaging.
Right. So when you're looking for new areas of business, how is your approach to that? Because you can't be focused just on leisure, especially if you're thinking about the fall, which the CEOs of other management companies on the show have said they're quite concerned about when it comes to levels of business. Yeah,
we're for sure concerned about the fall, especially considering a lot of our hotels are connected to universities, and we just don't know how that's going to play out yet. So we're really anxiously awaiting. But to your question, yeah, it's been interesting. I have to admit, maybe in 19, I wasn't as focused on acquisition strategies as maybe I should have been, where now acquisition is really critical. And we're going to pay more per acquired guest. But we're obviously we're entering sweepstakes components that we really have never done in the last 2 to 3 years, and aligning with brands that align with our independent hotel brands, and kind of partnering up with sweepstakes to really just get more of a pool of people in the email venue. But obviously our paid social media is really taking flight. It was really progressing since 17 and 18 and 19. It just kept going up in the paid spend. But now paid social media is probably our, if not second top paid media platform. And so that's a way, obviously, to acquire guests and to get awareness. And obviously you have the base, Google and Bing brand acquisition strategies. But I would say email acquisition and paid social have really been more of an influence for us in the last 6 months than ever before to try and get new faces and new people in our doors.
Well, major applause for you to basically touch people before they get in, make sure that they know what to expect. The videos, the paid search. I think it's so important. I just tried to book a hotel room, and the first thing that popped up said, "What can you expect when you get here?" And I truly appreciated that. That's the first thing I need to know before I even need to know rate. So I really, really appreciate that. And I think more people have to do that. How many hotels you guys have?
We're up to 50 independent hotels.
50 independent hotels.
Right. I would say you guys are definitely one of the largest groups of independent operators in the entire country. And Anthony, I should let you know that some of their hotels have been so well recognized. Have been like #1 hotel in the country, according to places like Travel and Leisure magazine. So
Glenn, you're getting
really the real deal.
You're getting too good at copying me by interrupting. You know that?
You know what, Anthony? I've learned, I'm sorry, gentlemen, to bring out our baggage here, but that's the only way that I can get a chance to talk on this program is to do it. But you have taught me well, sir.
Just FYI, sir, I've basically said nothing on this show so far. And the one little question I asked, you interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
But continue. Go ahead. I'm just going to sit here.
No, I was just putting that out as there was a point of information so you could have a deeper level of understanding about how interesting and cool these guys are.
It just made me realize Kyle looked like Robbie Lawler from UFC. That's all. That's all I realized.
but hey, Anthony,
go ahead.
Anthony, I got to tell you, to me, it's no brainer. It's blocking and tackling, where some hotel management companies and hotels that aren't doing it. I'm just I don't get it. Where it's really easy to put header banners on the website to alert people where to go to learn everything about cleanliness. Yeah. It's easy to put little call outs on the website, call outs on pre-arrivals. So that's just basic blocking and tackling. And yeah, I think for hotels not doing that correctly, see ya. The guests they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, and also it's really important because I don't know if I subscribe. We all know the media overhyped stuff, but I don't know if I subscribe to the COVID thing is an overhyped media thing. I think the numbers speak for themselves, and I think whether you believe that or not, making sure that every single guest feels comfortable, regardless of you think it's overhyped or not. I think it's really important. I don't think it's overhyped. I think it's a serious problem in this country that's going to keep us under economic
duress,
uncertainty for a long time. I think the hotel industry, because of the response, has unfortunately we started, then we stopped again, and I think it's going to get worse. And I think corporate business, who was thinking about traveling September, October, November, December, and having meetings, is done. And I don't think that that's specifically media. I think that's because of the cases, and whether they're COVID cases or whether they're deaths from COVID. And I know the number, thank God, is percentage wise has been down from where it was 3-4 months ago. That's great, but at the end of the day, you still have to quarantine for 14 days when you come home from Florida. You're still not allowed to go to Europe. You're still not allowed to go to the Bahamas. I can't go to California. I can't go to Arizona. So it's destroyed what we thought was going to be a strong fourth quarter. So regardless of what the media says, this is a serious problem that we're going to be tackling for. Now we're pushing we're not going to look at normal until the end of 2021.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what your political views or views on COVID in general. Like, it is a major issue, and it will affect our industry for a year to come. Thankfully, I think leisure will come back first, which a lot of our hotels are pretty leisure centric, and so hopefully we find some rebounds in mid to late 2021. But
Jesus.
I don't know. I don't think our budgets will be like 19s until maybe sometime in 22, some point. And especially to your point on that, business leisure, business transient, and group travel. Boy, I don't see 21, spiking that much up.
Yeah, but
that is very scary. Sorry, Anthony, continue.
No, Amanda made a really good point.
I was about to put that up on the screen.
Yeah. With kids staying home for school this fall, leisure may still be very viable. Families need a change of scenery. I can't agree with that more. I'm literally begging Glenn every single day. It's like, Glenn, we got to go somewhere.
I know. It's every single day.
I would fly to Vegas. I would fly to California, Florida, Arizona. Unfortunately, now I can't because I come back to New York, and New York's got us buttoned down. And again, a lot of people are like, oh, Governor Cuomo, he's been ridiculous. But you know what? 20 million people, we had 500 cases yesterday. So as terrible as 500 cases is, like, we feel like we're getting back. We're in third stage, going to fourth stage. We feel like we're kind of opening again. I went to lunch yesterday with my daughter, overlooking the water. It was beautiful outside. My kids have been going to the beach. It's been like we feel like we're opening up again. And just when I hoped that we opened up, the country would open up, everything's closed. And I was thinking about going to the Bahamas. Matter of fact, we had a trip to the Bahamas before COVID, and I was thinking about going because they've done such a great job down there. But now we're not allowed in. It's like I'm not allowed into my house.
I think obviously seasonal and remote destinations are going to be okay, in at least better off, right? So we have some hotels in Stowe, Vermont, and in the Berkshires and Massachusetts, and those bigger, open, wide areas. It's no secret, I think, are going to do better, faster, quicker. Where obviously your major primary cities are, I think, going to lag behind. Even some of our secondary cities are not really pairing that well. Even though there's plenty of outdoor activities and remoteness to some of them, it's really truly the ones out on the beach, out in the mountains, out in the open air that I think families are going to, and leisure travel is going to tend to sway towards.
All right, so I got a question for you, Michael, coming from Mike McManus. Where do you see the use of social media influencers currently? Travel bloggers, brand ambassadors, those Instagrammers, all of those types of people that a lot of hotels, particularly in the travel and lifestyle area, have gotten accustomed to partnering with.
Yeah, that's a really good question. A lot of layers to that one. I mean, traditionally, what we've done to get some of our awards, being number one in travel and leisure and being number one in TripAdvisor in the whole country, is really getting people at our property, right? Even on openings, we just had to open a beautiful hotel in Newport, Rhode Island called the Wayfinder mid-COVID, right? It opened last month. Talk about some troubles and struggles. They did a great job, but man, that was challenging. My point is, usually we get people to go there, and that does a lot of it. Well, we haven't been able to do that as much. And so, some of the social media influencer I find a little overwhelming in terms of really what are you getting out of it. I think
the chance to give somebody something for free.
Yeah,
that has 5 followers.
That's right, and there's just a lot, and they fake their followers, right? They load them up, and so I've kind of been anti social influencer, to be quite honest. I want people to go there, and I want people to promise me some PR exposure, and then I will deliver a great service. The challenge has been they haven't been able to visit, and so it's a really solid question, and I don't have a solid answer other than the fact that organic social is a nice little way to kind of push your brand. Obviously, with independence, we need to be unique and interesting. So we put a lot of influence on our organic social. The hope is we get some folks, some writers to our hotels physically. But I really I've stayed away from some of the digital influencer component. Now, one other thing that being said, we have been doing a lot of partnerships with brands where we're using their email database and they're using our hotel for hotel giveaways. And that's been a more of a sort of fair relationship.
Yeah, I would tell you there's one influencer who I think is amazing. Not only amazing because she's in the business. She was a concierge in California, but at a high level. But because Marriott worked with her, the cruise lines worked with her, and her it's Ask a Concierge. You guys should look her up.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you know her? Do you know Sarah?
I've heard of her. Yeah.
She's amazing. This is a young lady who's been in our business. That's a concierge that loves to service her clients and to really take care of of her clients. And she went out there and she gives you information. Like I've been following her every day. She's doing interviews, and it's real meaningful information I actually use on this show. So everybody follow Sarah. It's Ask Concierge. We're gonna have her on our show hopefully sometime soon. But she's absolutely amazing, and she's a real influencer. She's truly an influencer. She's not faking it. She's not like, oh, I think this would be a good way to make a living. She lives it and breathes it every day. So just someone to think about.
Absolutely. I mean, ROI, obviously, we try to do ROI on just about every tactic. That one's more brand centric, but definitely there's some great relevance to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Anthony, I'm thinking after we do the Boston Encore, we could stop by the Wayfinder, one of their properties in Newport, Rhode Island, and do a live show from there as well.
Yeah, but we have no influence, so he doesn't want us to go there.
Hey, you all have major influence. We'll get you there. No worries. It's all good.
So, guys, I've been asking this lately, and I think I'm asking it more for my insecurity about I can't believe how big this show's gotten. Because we didn't expect it. Not only didn't expect it, it wasn't really something we wanted, I think. It was just something we did.
No, I hate the idea of success. I've been working against it my whole career.
You guys watch the show? Is this the first time you've seen the show? What are you doing?
No, absolutely. We watch it. And I think it kind of has some parallels to our company, to be honest. It's like you kind of started building content and kind of slowly, organically, but surely moving forward and keeping at it. You kept doing show after show after show. And then ultimately things organically happen. Word of mouth happens. And I think word of mouth is the best way, is sort of the best compliment. You know what I mean? People talk about you in a positive manner. And it's really kind of the same thing for our company. This year we're celebrating 40 years as a company. And really a lot of people don't know about us that much, right? We're more of a B2B brand and not really focused about Charlestowne Hotels. We're really focused about the individual hotels, but over time, it just organically, the word of mouth has come through that we do a pretty good job. And now, we're a pretty big company from an independent hospitality standpoint. I think the same to you is you just kept building at it. And now look what you've done.
How many of the hotels you guys own outright?
We really are.
I'm sorry?
We're really in third-party management.
Okay. So are there any hotels you have ownership in, or is it all third-party management?
Our ownership owns hotels, but from Charlestowne Hotel standpoint, it's really just third-party management.
So with that said, how have you guys been pushed with the fees, and what have you done? Have you waived fees? Are people pushing you? I know you guys are right there. I mean, you seem very on, like, you're focused on getting things done, not on getting not getting crushed by this. So, but it must have obviously hurt your cash flow. And are owners asking you for waivers, or did you say something in the beginning of this?
Yeah, we did a mixed bag. I mean, we understand the situation's dire for everyone, right? Management company, owners, hotels, everybody's struggling. So we tried to help ease the pain as much as we could by still providing a full suite of services. We benefited from some of the government programs and passed some of that savings directly on to our clients as kind of a gesture, so that they understood we're right there with them. We want to get through this, and we're going to come out recover well. So there's been but most of them did ask, or we were proactive about helping them during this pandemic.
And how do you think most of the brands have fared in this as far as giving relief to the ownership?
Well, we're not involved with too many brands. I mean, I think
No, I know that. What I'm saying is, but peripherally, when you're looking at it, how do you think they handled it?
I think they handled it just like we did too. I mean, they gave breaks where it was logical. At the same time, they made a lot of deferments, not necessarily abatements, where we gave a little bit more of abatement. But we're all trying to get through this. They understood that when you have zero occupancy, nobody's making any money, so we need to make some concessions to help get through it, and hopefully it was a quick recovery in most markets.
Yeah, I think abatements and deferment is a big deal, and you're right, because once I get going again, if I'm a hotel, once I get going again, I'm going to need, I'm still in first gear.
Yep.
I'm basically neutral, then I'm in first gear. And until I get to second gear, it's going to be, you're going to be hard on the clutch for a while, and then you're going to second, third gear. So you need that abatement, definitely. Glenn, you look so crazy.
I was just gonna. I was gonna.
Sorry, Jonathan, please speak so that way Anthony doesn't have a chance to make fun of me.
Anthony told me to interrupt you to make sure I cut it off. So no, I was just going to add. Our balance has been with vendors too. It's one of the things about our relationships we try to put with the owners is just as much as working with them directly. Them knowing that we have relationships with vendors that, upon their expectation and a balance of us to being a somewhat of a vendor to an owner, is that with our vendors that, we sign up on a corporate level, that we look for that same relationship, right? We have some long-term relationships that, they knew the situation that we were going into, and that we could push them for kind of that same. So in that hard 3 months that, where our owners were coming at us and the communication was there, we were doing the same with our vendors. And the interesting thing about that I've been thinking about recently is the balance of that coming back. Some of our vendors, I think, are starting to cycle a little bit. I think they're being a little impacted a little more now. And, we're the contract you originally assigned with them, and a lot of us, it's based on service and support, is that, that's going to now be cut. So now what does that relationship look like is, when workforces are being cut, and, the services that we need to deliver, to Anthony's point, is, as we're getting up and getting moving, we need those same people on the other side. So we're trying to find a little bit of a balance of that now.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. So what are you doing to keep your staff motivated, keep your staff engaged, keep them wanting to come back to work every single day when it's been so tough to get people to stick around? Kyle?
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of look at it from two areas. We've got kind of the property level, and then our corporate. We got Charlestown's got a pretty heavy corporate staff that supports the property in every department. So from a corporate standpoint, we've kind of gone remote, but we're still touching base, communicating. One of the things that you kind of get with that remote is you just don't see anybody, you don't talk to anybody, you start doing your job. And so all our department heads and managers at the corporate office have definitely tried to make communication a top priority, touching base with their team daily, weekly at least, to kind of keep that morale. And then also we kind of opened our office back up, so it's available for people to come and
cool.
see each other and things like that. And then at the property level, it's really just everything that you can do. You can't. We talked to a GM Friday. Is they can't do a lot like bring in lunches and stuff like that. So again, we're kind of incentivizing people with gift cards and just thank yous and appreciation, showing love that way. Just two different levels, but anything we can to keep everybody happy and coming to work for sure.
And do you think because, you're not a Marriott, a Hilton, a big brand, that each employee and each team feels very independent? And yes, your name is important, but it's about the property. It's about that team. It's about what we're doing here in that location. Do you feel that they feel just so much more bought into that team and that we're going to help our team? So we don't have to listen to 600 different Hiltons all doing it the same way. We're very individualized. And yes, it's the best of both worlds. We have this great management team, but we're allowed to be us.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way our whole business model set up. We really let the property be the star of the show, and they run kind of run their own program. And a lot of that is easier because certain markets are bounced back very quickly. Staff has come back and not a lot of challenges, but some markets are still down and people aren't wanting to come back to work. So each property kind of takes their own operational. They try to pull strategy to get people happy, morale, business, all those factors working at their property.
So let me ask you. Go on.
I was just saying, Anthony, I think that's a really good insight you had, because the employees, I think, at our hotels feel the personalization, customization, flexibility, adaptability. Like, we're not pushing down 1,000 SOPs, red tape, bureaucracy, layers, check-ins, right? I think that employees hopefully feel empowered to make decisions, and also that, they actually can do what they want at the hotel instead of having to go up the chain 100 people. So hopefully that gives them some type of encouragement to feel like they own their own ship.
Yeah, and having so many brands within the brand,
Right.
In your position, that must be so difficult because you're literally having to target more. You're having to do what Hilton does or Marriott does for the whole brand. You have to do for each hotel.
That's why I have gray hair and can't sleep at night.
Don't get Katie started on that.
So what is this, an advertisement for just for men or something like that?
Kyle, what you don't understand is me and Michael went to high school together, and so I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help a situation here. You don't understand how hard this man works.
So when we're talking about sales and marketing, it's not just towards consumers to come to the actual hotels. Kyle and Jonathan, you guys got to think a little bit about getting new owners to come on and let you manage their properties. How has, Kyle, your strategy changed over the last 4 or 5 months to think about the fact that everything that we took as sacrosanct has now changed?
Yeah, our strategy there hadn't changed a whole lot. We're trying to take care of the clients we have. We've been really focused on them, making sure that they're taken care of. And to be honest, that's the same strategy we had before. Most of our business came from referrals or word of mouth, or we like what you're doing there. We want you to do that at our property. So we feel like taking care of the clients we've got will end up producing more leads, more opportunities with other owners. So it's changed a whole lot.
And it seems that you say no to some owners. Just the way you're set up and the way you guys are, that you probably say, no, thank you. We can't service you. We're not available. And that's how, because the question I was going to ask before you answered that question was, do you have owners that have been riding you so hard during COVID that you're like, you know what, maybe we don't belong together? But I would guess that didn't happen because you do such a good job of kind of not taking in people that would cause that problem.
Yeah, I don't think we take just anything. We don't want to be a 100 hotel management company, because that really contradicts our core principles of customization, personalization. We aren't a one size fits all. And so we are very careful. And I think Kyle hit it right on the head. We take care of our current clients, and then we kind of go through quite a process to make sure we're aligned with a new client moving forward. It's served us well. We grow slower that way. But it's also, we don't have lose 5, gain 6, or right. That is, you want to talk about gray hair. That's even worse.
Right.
When you're like, all right, well, we'll probably lose 7 this year, but let's just get 8. And we'll be +1. That's kind of that'll wear you out.
Yeah, that's a good way to burn people out and get rid of people. And you're not being authentic, and you're not being honest, and you're not being, in the spirit of hospitality, true to who you are. And again, 50 hotel company or 100 hotel company, people are like, well, that's not, I know it's double, but 100 hotels doesn't seem like a lot when you're a management company. It's huge, because what happens, you start losing your edge, and you just, there's too much going on, especially where very few people really do it like you guys, where you're really, you're working with independent properties without all these brands, because I think it's always harder to manage all those brands in their specs for your owner, as opposed to let the owner and you have a real relationship. I have a company called Hospitality Success, and one of the things we talk about is we tell people, we don't want your problem, so we don't want to be a management company. We're not a management company, we're a learning company. And when owners say, why are you a learning company, not a management company? And I said, because I don't want your problems. I want to teach you how to solve your problems. And it seems that if I was an owner with you, and this is good or bad for your company, that within a couple of years, I may be able to say, hey, you guys did a great job, but you guys really taught me the business. Thank you. And I really think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach people the business. I'm just tired of management companies not letting the general manager talk to the owners, and the owner can't talk directly to the, it's ridiculous. I mean, we've all seen that, right?
Yeah, we feel if we're kind of a little looser on that, obviously with some parameters, but in the end, there's sometimes hotel or owners learn from us on how to run an independent hotel for 4 or 5 years, and then they go do it on their own, right? And we got to be okay with that, because they also have the highest regard for us as well and give us referrals. And so we're less territorial and more just a nice steady flow of organic leads, and it served us well, especially in the last couple of years, and even last year with a big component of working with a group called Thrash Group, who's overseeing 10 hotels, and one of them being the Origin Hotel that we're going to help build their brand nationally for. So that was again an organic lead. So it's really serving us well.
Yeah, you can't build a sustainable brand overnight. It's got to be, you can get cachet quick. Like, what's that brand that I'm thinking about with that one word and everybody stands in line for a t-shirt? What is that called? Supreme. Right? Now Supreme built that brand for
I thought you were going to say stupid.
$10,000 for a t-shirt or whatever it is. And is that a sustainable brand? It might be, it might not be, but what you're doing is organically. And I talk to people about that all the time. Build your brand. I'm not saying slowly, but build it at a pace that you can run at. Like if you're running a marathon, there's people that are flying in front of me and there's people that are behind me, but I'm running my pace, because at the end of the day, I want to be behind that finish line. And you see people that don't make it sometimes because they're trying to run somebody else's pace.
Absolutely.
So when you're deciding to take on a management contract, what are you looking for from the owner of the property or the property itself? Because over here at the Houseman Resort Pool Club and Smokehouse, I've got a tent in the backyard that could be set up. I've got a bed. A couch that people can sleep on, and a lot of other really great first-class amenities. So what are some of the things that you guys look for on the serious side? Jonathan, maybe you want to answer this one?
Yeah. So a lot of it is, one, we're going to have to find out about the owner, what they're like, what the relationship is, but two, where they're going to work with us. We have a lot of foundational stuff we think we bring to the table, be it SOPs, vendors, relationship. On my side, we're obviously going to want to make sure we line up with what they think about the asset, right? The market, what they're building, what they're positioning, and where it comes out. I think a lot of times we've stopped right there, right? So an owner may be truly building an upscale property, but in their mind and running trend reports and market reports, they think it competes with the stuff in the luxury brand, and the amenities just don't match up. It's a division right there to begin with. So, we try to clear a lot of that up, go through the same diligence they went through to select the asset, and what we think of the asset, and then work all the way down to the relationship, to the communication, how we're going to communicate, what our standards are for communicating, and also understand that, going back to Anthony's a minute ago and talking with the general manager, that a lot of the properties in the independent space are legacy properties or pride properties. They're building something that they've, traveled and seen and they want to do, or they want to take bits and pieces from their travels, or they're building something in their hometown. So we often go up against that. This isn't the next, ROI piece, or this is the next box off the interstate. It's something that this owners work towards, like most things in their life, is to be a piece of their legacy. So really understanding the background of that and what the execution and what we need to do that, but also there's a balance of them not, overstepping our management, overstepping our control, and working within our confines of communication.
What's your favorite type of owner? Someone who's really hands-off, someone who's really in it every day, or something in between, or something I haven't considered? Maybe
someone who pays the fees on time.
Yeah, right.
That's good.
Go ahead.
I'll take that. I mean, I think probably we all have different opinions, but like I like a good owner who's a good business person who understands enough in hospitality to understand and appreciate what we do for them, take some of that burden off of them, doesn't get into our space too much. Again, business side, finance, yes, we're accountable to them, but can appreciate what we're doing. So somebody who we meet with, once a quarter, keep them updated pretty well, and just kind of lets us run the show and do our thing.
Right. Makes sense. Anthony, got any more questions for these guys?
One of the things I do, we have in our company, we work closely with eCornell. I do some classes for them. And so they give us a eCornell certificate for free to give to our clients. And one of the things I ask all my clients to do, who's ever going to be the face of the company, is to take that class. It's operations class or revenue class. And I always like them to take the revenue class, because the most important thing, and the questions you guys get the most, is why isn't the rate high? Why do we have a 3-day extended? Why do we do this? Jonathan's crap because he knows I'm right. And why is my competition higher? And why didn't you take that group? And why? So to me, if they really understand revenue management, that will at least give them a basis of education. Again, they're not going to be the experts. They're going to be dangerous enough to ask a good question, hopefully.
That's dead on to my answer as to what kind of owner I like, right? Like, I don't like the owner who either they have their understanding and think they understand but don't. And then, like, there have been times where I'm like, well, I'd rather do some of that, like you said, the eCornell of like the education to them and really bring them into my world to understand competitive analysis, to understand, RevPAR indexes and how we truly position. And in the independent space, it's even more tough, right? We go into markets where we don't have comp sets, or it's a fully branded comp set. So yeah, I completely agree with that. It's one of the things where, like, I like a somewhat hotel educated owner, because I feel like just our communication back and forth on the actual performance of their asset just goes that much easier.
Well, it's like whether it's what's happening in our country or what's happening in the hotel business, once we understand each other. Listen, I didn't grow up on a farm. I didn't grow up in the South. I don't hunt, and I don't really fish. But I get on a farm, and I get there, and I feel like in 24 hours I can live there forever. Once you start realizing somebody else's perspective, you start to appreciate it. And so to me, a good owner is someone that can understand what I go through on a daily basis and appreciate, not necessarily want to do it, not necessarily even like me, but appreciate me and appreciate what I go through. And I think if we did that, again, either in our politics or in our business, once we get to know each other, we're all humans, and we all, as Maslow's hierarchy of needs says, we all have the same 7 basic needs. So I think agree. Anytime I speak to an owner and I force them to watch how my team works and how hard they work for them and ask a lot of questions, they usually come to our side and say, okay, I get it. And they never want to see us again. They'll see you at the meeting and that's it, because it's a lot of work, man. What you do when you're doing 50, just so I can really express it to our audience that maybe has not really understood what you're doing. You're taking a brand and you're taking independent owners and you're building a brand within the brand without really trying to overstep that hotel and making those independent owners all come together to understand your one vision. That's almost an impossibility. Almost no one has done that. And it's true. And again, a guy who's been doing it for 30 years, that is almost impossible. And to do it and to have a legacy where people refer you says a lot about your style and the way you do it. But the minutia of our business is tough. What you do is even tougher. And thank God I don't do what you do.
Well, Anthony, and guys, I didn't pay him to say that.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I did not. But
you're welcome to, though.
But Anthony, man, that was some good philosophy you just dropped down, because, I think obviously we've tried to figure out ways to accomplish that. For example, we're unique. Like, I have a whole creative team here, right? We got designers, copywriters, like brand enthusiasts, right? We got project managers pushing projects through. We got strategic marketing managers. It's like a in-house ad agency running here, right? To do exactly what you said. And we kind of run it like an agency in that regard. And I think, to your point about the owners, we've really done, I think, good job bringing them along around the branding process. So amongst running all these hotels, we actually create the brands from scratch, right? We think of, the unique point of difference and the names and the logos and the style guides and why is it going to be different? And, all of that's done here at Charlestown. We don't necessarily hire third parties to do that. And we've really brought our owners along that journey. And so the hope is by the time the brand actually comes to fruition, they're not, getting on me about the font color or what photo I'm taking. Although we still do have owners that do that. But that's the hope, is you bring them along on the front end of the branding journey so that when you start executing, they're nodding their head.
Well, what I find is just for me, the way I work, whether I own a hotel or whatever I do, is I'm in hard and, I'm like right there and I'm listening. I'm questioning you and I'm driving you nuts and you want to fire me probably within a week or two. And then if you do everything that I think we work together as a team, then I'm like, I'm out. And then you're like, where's Anthony? I'm like, just call the guys. They got it. Call them. They got it. What do you mean they got it? Just call them. They figure it out. Don't worry about it. And I think that to me is the relationship I want. I want to come in and I want to question people until they get their nose bleeds and then don't, and then walk away. And I think that is the kind of owners I like. It's like just have blind trust. But, I always tell the owners when you hire me, when I was a general manager, hire me. I don't want a contract. In 6 months, you either give me more money, and not a little bit of more money, but a lot of more money, or you fire me. And that was my agreement. I never once had a contract in my entire 30-year career in running hotels, ever. And it's always worked out. Matter of fact, one hotel worked out so great that they when they sold the hotel, they bonused me double. They basically gave me my bonus and my salary again as a bonus, which was like incredible. And so with people like that, I can work really hard for because I know they're trusting me. And Dave Johnstone once said, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. So everybody's different. Those owners that trust you are the owners who probably do the best because you've been here for a long time. And you guys seem to know what you're doing, unlike my friend Glenn.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. Case in point, choosing Anthony as a partner for this series. So I think it's self-evident what I do or do not know. All right, gentlemen, before we wrap up for today, and I do want to apologize to everybody for being a little out of it today. Boy, am I out of it today. I think I've got a little bit of the wow factor with all this new stuff going on around me. I can't seem to process it. How about we get some final thoughts on anything that you'd like? Let's start with Kyle, then go to Jonathan, then wrap up with Michael. Kyle?
No, just glad we were able to join the show today. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Jonathan?
Yeah, same. Thank you. Just as an industry that we, hold on, kind of support our markets and support everyone through this. I think, as we said, I think there's a little bit of a lack of insight yet to come with the back end of the year. No one's even talking yet of what 21 in the picture of individual hotels looks like. So that, shows like this and content keeps going, and then we work together as an industry to kind of share those best practices and resources. We got a road ahead.
Yeah, and Michael, not only wrap up, but being that you're in sales and marketing, give a good shameless plug for Charlestowne Hotels.
Will do. I think first, we have lasted through some tough times in our 40 years. I would say that this definitely is the toughest one ever, but hopefully there'll be some recovery. I think. Like I said, we are fortunate for our diverse portfolio, but more so, I want to give a shout out just to every hotel line employee, every person working in the hotel. Like, our job is nothing compared to them in terms of what they're seeing, what they're experiencing, how they're dealing with the guests in this very turbulent times. I have so much admiration for those folks, and our company is nothing without them. And I just want to thank them very much. And, as far as Charlestown's considered, again, we're super stoked. We've been around 40 years. Hopefully in December, we can celebrate somehow, some way to do that. We're never been more excited in terms of our independent nature and how we're approaching hotels and how we're really going now across 20 states, wow. 50 hotels, and really starting to move towards the West. And again, we're going to slowly but surely do it because ultimately our current owners are the ones that had our back then, and hopefully we'll continue to have our back moving forward. So hey, thanks for having us for sure.
And Michael, thank you for shouting out to the employees because I can't agree with you more.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Hope to get you on again real
Thank you,
soon.
gentlemen.
So, Anthony, made it through his Monday's show. I think all of the getting used to this new tech at the beginning and trying to figure stuff out really threw me for a loop today. I'm not normally this, I don't know, whatever it is I am.
No, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. But you know what? They're great guys, and it's hard. Like I said, the reason I said that, it's hard to run that kind of brand because a lot of the management companies, and I don't, I'm going to get crap for it, but they hide behind the brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
They basically just see what the brand's doing and filter it through to the owner and take the credit for it and get a fee for it. But these guys really kind of are responsible for their own destiny, whether they're good or not, because they don't have a brand behind them. They have their own brand.
Right.
With that said, one of the things I want to make clear on this show,
mm-hmm.
and I think there's two things happening right now. Our industry is going to be in second gear, like I said last week, for a long time.
Right.
If we don't stop worrying about the media and start worrying about the numbers,
mm-hmm.
everybody wear a mask and everybody be safe. So government doesn't give us draconian laws like every single room's got to be cleaned every single day and it's putting hotels out of business in San Francisco and New Jersey. It's ridiculous. Those laws are ridiculous. I know they're good intended, but they're not helping the situation because owners will not open their hotels. If people don't want you in their room, they don't want you in the room. To clean a room just to clean a room to make somebody in government happy makes no sense. You're not doing anything for safety. If anything, you're putting people together in a closed room for no reason. So I think it's ridiculous. So again, it's not about the media. It's not about these ridiculous laws. What it's about is believe the numbers. Put your mask on, social distance, and we'll all go forward. Again, this weekend, we saw in New York, a lot of people getting together. The governor's a little pissed off. Hopefully the numbers will stay low. You saw people on top of each other, hugging and kissing in these parties. Again, I don't know what that's going to translate. I think most of these people have been outside, so I think it'll be okay. But that is the quickest way. So as we go towards November, and we're going to be talking about voting, remember, and say just vote. Don't care what your political persuasion is. Just vote. And if you don't like the way things are going, then change it. If you like the way things are going, then keep it the same. So that is the most important. This whole thing about this, that, and the other, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just like we are banned from the Bahamas. We are banned from European Union. Our industry is struggling. We need to do the right thing. We need to all love each other and take care of each other. And we need to move forward. Those are my words of the day, my friend.
I think that's a great way to sum it up. Everyone's got to do their part. Speaking about doing their part, we want you to get more educated. And this show every single day is a great way for you to learn. So share it with some friends. Let other people know all about it. And of course, subscribe to our newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866 for a great recap on all the shows we do each and every week, plus a lot more. Then I'd encourage you to check out Hotel Reboot. We got another one coming out on this Wednesday. And that live show at 2 p.m. at hotelreboot.com is going to feature refinance and reinvestment, a real how-to guide to understand what's going on now with that. Not pontificating like we necessarily do on this show, but real actionable insights. We've got Robert Webster. He's the vice chair and president of Hotels Institutional Group at CBRE. He's somebody that's so high up that never does any shows. He's doing ours. Brian Huntsman with Chicago Title. Evan Charles, founder and managing partner with Frontier Development. Keegan Bish, VP of Originations with Stonehill Strategic Capital, and Vinay Patel, the Vice Chairman over at HOA. Should be a great group. A lot of people that don't normally do speaking gigs, doing speaking gigs with us. Check that out. Then check out Anthony's Hospitality.
No one's getting the names you're getting. I don't even get the names you get. You keep them for yourself, buddy. But I like
not really. I'm bringing a lot of them on here too. But after, we got to get them on there first.
So tomorrow, 2 o'clock, we're going to be Ask the Experts. Me and my friend Jeremy, or my partner, will be talking about the 7 things you need to know. So please go to hospitalitysuccess.com, sign up, or go to the Hospitality Facebook and sign up, or go to any of my social medias and sign up, or send me smoke signals. And so please, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, it's free. It's me. Be there. And what I like about, freedom of speech is someone just cursed me out and told me to F me and my man.
Here it is. I love it. With the name Johnny Dingleberry. So
it's possible for humans to catch it, liars. Okay, you can take that down now, Glenn. And that's your opinion, and I thank you for your opinion.
That's he's actually referring to the Japanese city of Fuku.
Right. So so let's wrap up. But I appreciate your opinion. And that's your opinion. You know what? And I'll fight in the military. When I was in the military, I'd fight and die for your opinion. I will fight and die for your opinion. I don't have to necessarily agree with your opinion.
Listen, you don't have to agree with somebody's opinion, but if you're going to tell them to go to Fuku, well, Fuku you too. All right.
No,
so have your opinion. We can speak in real human terms with each other and disagree. We don't need to have bad language and try to insult each other, because that crap, that destroys discourse. That's not going to get anyone anywhere. And we do. And you're better than that. Well, maybe you're not.
Well, listen, you just don't let them post, and that's it. But you know what? That's my point, and that's why I asked you to bring it up, because I don't want to get into it with people. I don't get into it with people online at all. Someone said the other day, well, somebody said something and you banned it, and I was like, well, I guess my team did, because they were being abusive. And again, this is for everyone to come together, right? I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care what business you're in. It's like, man, life is tough enough. Let's just do our best to be kind to each other, and there's no reason to for that kind of stuff. But whatever, I'm not mad at you at all. I just want to get these hotels full. I want people to go on vacation. We need things to look forward to. If I don't go on vacation soon, I'm going to start growing hair.
Seriously, and we do not want to see that happen. All right, so our new campaign is wear a mask so we can get Anthony to a poker table. All right. So don't do it for yourself. Don't do it for America. Do it for Anthony's poker habits. Anthony, any final words before we wrap this up today?
No, my brother, just tomorrow, 2:00, go ask the experts. And thank everybody for their comments. And thanks for making this #1 show in hospitality.
All right. So tomorrow we're back here at noon. Anthony's got his thing going on at 2. Ask the experts tomorrow at 2. Wednesday, we're back here at noon. Hotel Reboot at 2. Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you guys for being here. Remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.